Welcome in 17s to Emory Healthcare Studio for a post-summer of soccer edition of the Prematch Show. Alongside 92.9 The Game and the SDH Network's very own Jason Longshore, I'm Joe Freihofer. Jason, as much as we'd like to spend this entire show talking about Argentina-Spain this coming weekend, first of all, Atlanta has shown up like they always do for the beautiful game, but this time on the biggest stage of them all for this World Cup. We had Giannis hanging out at Brew House. We had all the Argentina fans pouring inside of the stadium and outside. What's been your favorite moment so far for you in this World Cup?
I mean, look, I'm biased because the Argentina team is something that has inspired my life. You know, I fell in love with the sport because of Diego Maradona. So seeing two of the greatest comebacks in the history of the sport in a World Cup in our building, it's pretty fascinating. But I'll tell you what one of my favorite memories was. It was the Morocco-Haiti match. And it was walking out of the stadium afterwards, and fans from both teams, nobody wanted to go home. Everybody was just standing around, talking, interacting, local fans, Moroccan fans, Haitian fans. That's where it felt like the World Cup was really local and special for me.
100%. New eyes, new passion, and a new love for the sport that's going to kick off right here. Atlanta United is back playing MLS football for the first time since the 24th of May, Jason. Big window to do it against Nashville SC Friday, 8:10 p.m. Eastern on both Apple TV and Fox. Let's take a look back. It's been a mini preseason for head coach Tata Martino in Atlanta United. A friendly here against Sporting Kansas City with some wrinkles. You saw striker Emmanuel Latelat shifting to right wing. Most importantly, Jay Forch and Cooper Sanchez, the homegrowns, are just continuing their form.
Yeah, Latelat out wide to the right opened up space for Fortune and Sanchez to get higher up the field and get involved in the attack a little bit more. I loved the spacing in the match against Kansas City. Yeah. That was such a huge factor in it. And you saw the starters go 60 minutes and get a really good workout. And then the last 30, you saw a lot of Atlanta United 2 players, including Cameron Dunbar, who's having a great season in MLS Next Pro. Yep. Dunbar gets the winner. Andrew Hardinas involved. Luke Brennan, great assist right there for the finish from Dunbar.
Look at the way Tomas Jacob wins the ball back right here. More specifically, how high he was getting. He was incorporating himself in the final line of the attack as you see this lovely diagonal ball chested down by Jacob. What did his movement do to the overall attack for Atlanta United?
He was stretching the field at various points. I mean, we know the defensive side. We know the intensity from Tomas Jacob. We know what he's going to bring in those areas. But when he's able to get high up the field and also wide, and sometimes make an interior run like this one, Latelat stays wide, he goes on the underlapping run. It's so hard to deal with, but it's this kind of ball, and this leads to the first goal for Atlanta against Kansas City. Long diagonal, Jacob making the long run. You start to then pin Kansas City in deep. Latelat's able to then follow up and support Jacob. Kansas City, you see them scrambling, trying to figure out, all right, my fullback's high, the winger's deep, how do I defend? You don't. And that's what Tomas Jacob can start to bring. When he gets forward, he pins teams in. Yeah. We know the defensive side will be strong, but when he gets forward, then it's really difficult for the opponent to get out.
Now you're going to shift and see if you can carry this momentum, this spark right here from the homegrowns against Jason, one of the most complete sides in all of Major League Soccer. We're talking about a Nashville SC side that's got 33 points in 14 matches. That's the third best start in 3 decades of Major League Soccer. You see the athletic ability from their center backs right here, getting 2 finishes in their last match out. What makes B.J. Callahan's brand of soccer so lethal?
I think what B.J. Callahan's brought to Nashville is a little more diversity in the way that they play. They're always going to be a strong defensive team. That's been their identity from day one. Yeah. B.J. Callahan brings a little bit more of the transition and some different ways of transitioning, but the set pieces are strong too. This is a recycled situation where you've got numbers up and you're able to then get it back to the back post. Nashville's got weapons in a lot of different ways. Set pieces are going to be an issue for Atlanta United, but I think when you start to look at the open run of play and you see Christian Espinoza, he's going to be a big part of that in the run of play. But it's Hany Mukhtar that we have talked about for years in this rivalry. Mukhtar has been so dangerous for Nashville in general in the league, but especially against Atlanta United. As we start to see some of the things that make him so dangerous, the combination there, he never stops going forward. He's very vertical, but he attacks space. And that's the thing about Mukhtar is if you give him space, he is going to punish you. B.J. Callahan there talking about where to find some extra space for Hany Mukhtar. But it's the combination. Like, watch him here. Okay, he finds the pocket. He turns. He gets it back. drives forward. Defenders have to make decisions.
Yeah.
After he lays it off, he doesn't stop. He continues into more space. 2 defenders were right with him when he laid the pass off. He ran right by them. That's what he does that is so dangerous.
No solution for Hani so far this year yet either. 6 goals, 5 assists. If you think about this total attack, Jason, you think about the trident that they've got between him, Serge, Espinoza, 31 total goal contributions across the 3 of those. Hard to believe that they snagged Espinoza in a winter window like that not too long ago. As you see another free kick finish for Hani Mukhtar. The quality is permanent right here. Just another moment that he does, and a guy you're going to have to keep a tight eye on if you're Atlanta United. Let's take a look now at Chief Soccer Officer and Sporting Director Chris Henderson, what he had to say to the media regarding the MLS summer transfer window as Atlanta United looks to make some big moves this summer.
Staff has been working, since last window. We've been preparing and having meetings with different players and agents and clubs. And, we're always trying to think windows ahead. And like I said, we want to have as much business as we can at the early part of the window to get these players in. With 20 games left, you don't want to lose games. You have a visa to work on. You have things that after you get the contract signed, waiting on the player to come and train with the team. 5
Stripes have been big in this transfer window so far. They've started at the back. 2 center back additions, lots of experience, Jason. You go for the sheriff himself. That would be Junior Alonso, the Paraguayan international, coming over from Brazil with a total, Jason, of countless continents that he's traversed in his playing career. You've also got Paulo Diaz, who's been a staple at the back line for River Plate over there in Argentina, one of the biggest and most historic clubs. Keynote here, 17s. These 2 will not be available until they require their P1 visas, so they're going to have to wait a little bit. We likely will not see them for this first match against Nashville this Friday. But Jason, let's begin with the sheriff, Junior Alonso. What can we expect from him in terms of his player profile?
Well, you get a left-footed center back, so in terms of possession, it's going to help you in your build-up. It's going to help you build out quickly. It's going to help you build out maybe a little more cleanly, and you can get higher up the field. With Paulo Diaz, you get another player who is excellent in build-up, and we've seen it with River Plate over the years. This is a team that very Argentine kind of mentality. I mean, we saw it in this World Cup with Cristiano Romero, with Lisandro Martinez, center backs impacting the attack. Yeah. You're going to get those kind of things with Paulo Diaz. He's got a few more goals than you might expect from a center back, and they're not all set pieces either. That's the thing. You might look at this and say Atlanta United needs to score more goals. You sign 2 center backs. These center backs help you in your build-up to get higher up the field quickly and more cleanly, and it gives you the ability to create better chances. That's all connected. Your defending starts with your forwards. Your attack starts with your defenders. That's how Tata Martino wants his team to play.
By the way, 17s, he's a guy who grew up playing striker, so that's where some of that attacking mentality, breaking the lines, comes through. He's also a second-generation Chilean international, following in the footsteps of his dad, Italo. Let's take a look. Atlanta United and Nashville SC. Here's how they shape up in terms of the last time that both of these sides played in Major League Soccer. For that, you got to go all the way back to the 24th of May. It's been a long time coming, but Jason, the 5 Stripes superior in XG over Nashville says a lot about first in the East for Atlanta. 16 total shots. Just got to be more clinical now in this second half of the season.
Yeah, and got to start better. This was mostly in the second half after he'd fallen behind against Columbus. The response was great, and it was something we talked about a lot on the radio broadcast. But you've got to be more efficient, and that's something that Nashville does very well. You see expected goals, less than 1. This is a team that finds goals out of situations that maybe they shouldn't. And Atlanta's got to find a way to start doing the same. You've got to be clinical in the attacking half. It goes back to the overall structure we've talked about. If you build up well and you pin teams in and you create better chances, you're going to start to finish more. And these shot counts and these expected goal counts will turn into goals on the scoreboard.
To close us out, let's zoom in just a little bit more into that attacking final third for Atlanta. You got Miguel Almiron fresh off of a little bit of rest after an iconic World Cup performance for Paraguay. Incredible victory over Germany that Junior Alonso had a big part in now. He comes back with fresh legs. Emmanuel Latela shifted to right wing. You saw Tomas Jacob at right back, flooding forward. What do you hope to see in the final third early against such a defensively solid team like Nashville SC that's only allowed 11 goals so far this season?
I mean, it's 2 things for me. It's spacing. I want to see the spacing that we saw in the Kansas City friendly, where you're able to then create opportunities for Cooper Sanchez, for Jay Fortune, for other central midfielders to get forward and start to pin teams in. That's the other thing, is when you start to pin them in and you don't let them get out, wingers then have to defend. They don't like that very much. Then it's hard for them to get higher up the field. You know Nashville's going to be strong in transition, but you want to keep the ball well. I think if there's one key that I have to really look at, one thing to watch for, where turnovers happen for Atlanta United. You don't want them in the middle third. You don't want them around the top of the 18 on a cutback where Nashville can break if they win that ball. You've got to finish plays in the attacking half. That's the key.
That's why they call you the Fulton County Luis de la Fuente right there. What a finish to the show. That is 92.9 The Game of the STH Network's Jason Longshore. I'm Joe Freihofer. 17s, we want to see you guys there at Geodis Park this coming weekend. There will be busloads of 17s traveling on the road, always providing that environment. And we think back to that very first ever match for NSC there at Nissan Stadium. The 17s have always flooded it out. This coming Friday, 8:10 p.m. on Apple TV and Fox. We'll see you there.
Side of the box, takes a touch, he goes to the end line. He turns and fires to the back post, header! Score! Atlanta United has come from 2 goals down to equalize in the 75th minute.